For decades, the EB-5 visa offered a premium path to U.S. residency, but the system operated with high levels of ambiguity, burdened by vague timelines and various investment loopholes. That changed with the 2022 Reform and Integrity Act, which established a new framework for regulatory enforcement. Now, a leaked internal memo detailing the 2026 Notice of Proposed Rulemaking reveals how much tighter those requirements are about to become. These proposed rules bring the entire investment program into a more structured environment. The historical tolerance for loose interpretations is being replaced by standardization and mandatory transparency. If investors fail to navigate these new boundaries, the penalties are final. They risk losing access to their capital and having their green card petitions permanently rejected. The 2026 memo outlines specific changes that rewrite the entire investment lifecycle, starting with the projects themselves. Step 1 for any investor is selecting a project, but the landscape of available options is shrinking under new federal restrictions. High-risk gambles are being removed from the market first. The government has officially eliminated the troubled business category from the list of approved investment channels. The definition of an infrastructure project has narrowed. It must involve a tangible physical asset, like a bridge, and be entirely managed by a government entity. Additionally, 16 critical sectors are now completely off-limits to foreign investors, regardless of asset type. Meanwhile, a new tier has emerged. In contrast to the traditional targeted employment area, the government is introducing the High Employment Area, or HEA. These are highly developed zones where the employment rate sits at 150% above the national average. But investing here triggers a specific statutory price hike dictated by the Department of Homeland Security, a mandated minimum investment of $1.4 million. The project menu is now designed to funnel investors in one of two directions, toward heavy government oversight or toward a higher premium for developed areas. Once an investment is made, the project enters a holding period where compliance is measured against a very specific clock. The 2026 regulations confirm the mandatory sustainment period is exactly 2 years, but the trigger is what matters. The clock only starts when money moves out of the holding fund and transfers into the job-creating enterprise executing the project. The capital must be at risk, meaning the money has to be actively spent on physical construction or the daily operations of the development. This closes a loophole where money sat idle for years. Under these rules, parking funds in an escrow account does not count toward the 2-year requirement. Only the actual economic deployment of the capital starts the clock. The government is shifting its focus away from how long an investor waits and toward how long their money is actually working in the economy. The final phase is the I-829 petition, where the investor applies to remove the temporary conditions on their green card. Regional centers must now file a formal project amendment 90 days before any investor submits their application. This amendment acts as a master exemplar, the definitive baseline to prove every promised job was actually created. The immigration agency will no longer rely solely on paper records. USCIS will conduct physical site visits to verify the project's status in person. Beyond these inspections, federal auditors will use independent big data analysis to mathematically confirm that the employment metrics match the claims made in the filing. The burden of proof now rests with the regional centers, who must survive a data-driven verification process to protect their investors' legal status. These combined rules represent the end of the loosely regulated environment that once defined the program. The U.S. government is enforcing a clear trade-off. They are removing programmatic flexibility in exchange for a more transparent market. In this 2026 landscape, exhaustive due diligence has become the only way to navigate the investment process successfully. Because these regulations are so specific, investors must consult qualified legal and financial professionals before making any capital decisions.